Hello everyone, welcome back to PrepBee, and this is one more episode of VARC practice wherein we'll be doing one RC and few verbal questions. So let's get started without any further ado. And the first we are going to do with the reading comprehension. The deepest cultural roots of Indian cinema may be accident. The Sanskrit epics, the Mahabharata and Ramayana, remain familiar sources for film narratives and allusions, and classical rasa, juice or flavor, aesthetics is sometimes cited to explain the mixture of diverse elements found in popular Indian films. The central visuals interaction of Hindu worship darshan viewing has also been identified as a cultural source for the regular formal reliance on formal framing and direct address in popular cinema. So, what the author is trying to say here in these few lines is that Indian cinema it draws inspiration from old stories, let it be Mahabharata or Ramayana, and the form and from the classical concept of rasa. Rasa is actually something which refers to evoking some kind of emotions. So it is saying that in Indian cinema, they draw inspiration from Mahabharata or Ramayana or from the classical concept of rasa. So movies, what they do is they often combine various elements, and this mixture connects with these old ideas. So these are the diverse elements that are found in the popular Indian cinema. Also, they have said that the concept of darshan, that is worship through sight or viewing, may explain why Indian movies often have the actors directly facing the camera or the audience. Okay? That is, there is direct address in popular cinema. Now, theoretical forms such as westernized Parsi theatre and the Marathi Sangeet Natak immediately preceded the arrival of cinema and provided more direct sources for some of the techniques, such as the regular incorporation of song and dance that distinguish Indian cinema, and these also supplied many of the new medium's first performers and financials. So what it says is that Parsi theatre and Marathi musical plays, they also directly influenced Indian cinema. They preceded the arrival of cinema, and elements like dance and songs and movies came from these theatres itself. So these forms also provided early actors and financial support for the film industry. The mass-produced lithographs of Raja Ravi Verma, often depicting Hindu god and goddesses in naturalistic forms and settings, were also influential transitional work in encouraging the adaptation of Indian visual traditions into the realistic media of early photography and film. So what are they saying is that artist Raja Ravi Verma's realistic paintings of Hindu gods helped bridge traditional art with photography and film. It also encouraged the filmmakers to adopt realistic visuals. Cinema itself appeared in India when the Lumeri cinematography was exhibited in Bombay at Patson's Hotel on 7th July 1896. Screenings in Calcutta and Madras soon followed, and by 1898, the Indian photographers Hira Lal Sen, founder of Royal Bioscope Company in Calcutta, and H.S. Bhatwardkar began producing short films and recording popular theatre performances. So cinema came into India with with the brothers films, which was first shown in Mumbai. They have sent, and after that, soon screenings they spread to Kolkata and Chennai. Indian filmmakers like Harilal and Bhatwardkar began making short films around 1898, and they often captured theoretical performances. Although he was not the first Indian to shoot or exhibit films, the father of Indian cinema is justifiably identified as Dhundiraj Govind Dada Saheb Phalke, 1872, 1944, whose Raja Harishchandra, drawn from a story in the Mahabharata, initiated feature-length narrative films of distinctively Indian character. So it says that, see, Dada Saheb Phalke is known as the father of Indian cinema because of the film Raja Harishchandra, which told a story from Mahabharata. So Phalke got the idea to show Hindu gods in movies after seeing a film about the life of Christ. So according to legend, viewing a film depicting the life of Christ inspired Phalke to put Hindu gods on the screen, a motive that aligned him with Swadeshi indigenous movement demanding independence from Britain through boycott of foreign goods. So following Phalke's name, well over 1,000 silent films were produced in India, but the fact that few had survived frustrates accurate accounts on the first decades of cinema produced in India. So it says that Phalke got the idea to show Hindu gods in movies after seeing a film about life of Christ. So his efforts aligned with the Swadeshi movement, which promoted Indian goods over the British ones. More than 1,000 silent films were made in India after Phalke, but many are lost, making it hard to document the earlier years accurately. In 1906, Madden's Elphinstone Bioscope Company in Calcutta began regular film production, and by 1917, Baburao Painter established the Maharashtra Film Company in Kolhapur. For the following 2 decades, an expanding studio system would ensure film production throughout India. By the early 1930s, major studios such as New Theatres, Calcutta, Prabhat Pune, and Bombay-based Kohinoor Film Company, Imperial Film Company, Vadia Movietone, Ranjit Movietone, and Bombay Talkies offered audiences commercially differentiated genres and distinctive stars. So it is just saying that G.F. Madan started a film production company in Kolkata in 1906, and Baburao Painter followed in 1917 by establishing Andhra Studio in Kolhapur. So over the next 20 years, more studios opened, leading to steady film production. By the 1930s, studios like New Theatres, Prabhat, and others in Mumbai, such as Kohinoor and Bombay Talkies, they specialized in different genres, and they created distinct stars. All right. So all this is being talked about. Now let's see. Uh, Himanshu Rai's Bombay Talkies organized as a corporation reliant on European financing, technology, and talent. In 1940, Rai's widow and the studio's biggest female star, Devika Rani, took over the company. So, India's first sound film, Alam Ara, directed by Ardeshir M. Irani for Imperial, firmly established the importance of song and dance sequences in popular Indian cinema, as well as the future identification of Indian films along regional lines determined by language. So it is just saying that Bombay Talkies was founded by Himanshu Rai. They used European funding, technology, and talent, like German director. After Rai passed away, Devika Rani, his wife, took over in 1940. Alam Ara was the first Indian sound film, and it made songs and dance an essential part of the Indian movies. It also started the trend of making films in different languages, right? By the following year, B. Shantaraman began to direct innovative films in both Marathi and Hindi for Prabhat, often starring the legendary actress Durga Koti, demonstrating Indian cinema's quick adjustment to new sound technologies as well as different linguistic markets. However, as Bombay became the center of Indian film production, so a variety of spoken Hindi or Hindustani would soon establish itself as India's cinema's dominant screen language. So filmmaker Shantaraman started making innovative films in Marathi and Hindi, showing how quickly Indian cinema adapted to sound. As Mumbai became the center of Indian filmmaking, a form of Hindi known as Hindustani became the main language that was used in the film. So just go through the paragraph, minute, give it a minute, soak in, and get used to it. So first it was talking about Ramayana, Mahabharata, how from culture it actually has a lot of impact. And then it proceeded to how Indian filmmaking started, all of it. Just soak in. This is a very fact-based GD. All right. Now let's do the questions of this. What is the primary purpose of the passage? Okay. So what is the primary purpose of the passage? To dwell on the influences of ancient Indian epics on the evolution of modern Indian cinema. Hold on. Not really, but let's hold on. To trace the evolution of Indian cinema till its 1930s form. Yes, it is talking about how it started and what is going on, right? We'll mark this. We'll still hold on to this. To throw light on significance of Indian film personalities. This is not at all mentioned. To narrate a comparative study. They are not having a comparative study. To dwell on influences of Indian epics. This is just first paragraph, not the entire one. So second is your answer. According to the passage, all of the following are true except about the development of Indian cinema. Certain forms of theatres preceded the arrival of Indian cinema. It is true because Marathi wala diya rakha tha. The Luminaire cinematography exhibition in Bombay followed the screenings in Calcutta and Madras. ये कहाँ पे दिया है? Screenings in Calcutta and Madras soon followed. Now Now they are saying that this cinematography followed the screenings of this one. So this is a false statement. जबकि इसका opposite हुआ था. So second is your answer. Hiralal Sen and Bhatparkar are founders of this one. लिखा है true है. V. Shantaraman began to direct Maverick films in both Hindi and Marathi in 1932. ये भी passage में दिया रखा है. So second is your false statement. What can be inferred about Indian cinema before the release of Alam Ara in 1931? Indian cinema was influenced by archaic storylines. Indian cinema was influenced by overtly religious Western cinema. बिल्कुल नहीं, archaic नहीं. Indian cinema was without sound, because Alam Ara was the first sound making was movie with sound. So third is your answer. Indian cinema was primarily dependent on production of short films and recording. ये ठीक है, but this is not talking about Alam Ara. According to passage, there are no accurate accounts of silent films produced in India because why? Because filmmakers' core job was only to produce film and not to preserve them. कहीं नहीं लिखा है. Many filmmakers used cheap films. नहीं दे रखा है. Technology was unsophisticated. नहीं दे रखा है. Very few silent films of the time could be preserved. They said that there were hundreds of films that were produced. 1,000 silent films were produced. यहाँ पे दे रखा है. So fourth is your answer. Now let's do verbal. The four sentences are given below and you need to write in the right order. It reflects a failure of globalists to appreciate the externalized cost of globalization and the people who bear these costs disproportionately. The ideological war between globalism and resurgent nationalism in recent years is seen as an invitation to take sides by many intellectuals. Looks like a starting paragraph. Supporters of renewed parochialism and xenophobia in turn fail to acknowledge the facility of our current state of global interdependence and indeed the urgent need for even greater global cooperation. Demonizing followers of the new wing nationalism is easy, but the outcome of Brexit referendum and the last presidential election in India and USA should have taught us that ignoring the genuine arguments of this demographic is foolish and dangerous. So they are just saying, see, first is your, sorry, second is your starting para. That is the ideological war between globalism and nationalism is an invitation to take sides by many intellectuals. Now, what are they saying? They are saying that the demonizing followers of the new right-wing nationalism is easy. But the outcome is saying that if you are going to ignore this demographic, then you are foolish and you're dangerous. Why? Because it reflects that failure by globalists to appreciate the externalized cost of globalization. So this is explaining this one. And then comes your supporters of whatever is xenophobia and patriotism. So this is your 2413. Now, the initial 1972 report to Club of Rome on the predicament of mankind warned of exponential population growth and potential collapse around 2100 due to overshot. Arguably, success was due to use of computer model. See, arguably success was due to तो नहीं बोलेंगे तो कुछ तो होगा. The limits of growth went viral to use a contemporary team receiving a huge amount of worldwide publicity and pushed back by economists. The Club of Rome is an unusual organization with unusual history. So this is your fourth statement. Now we are going to talk about the Club of Rome. What they are saying, the initial 1972 club report on of Rome warned of exponential population. So this is what is unusual, वो कह रहा है यहाँ पे. उसके बाद क्या आ जाएगा तुम्हारा, the limits of growth went viral. Limits of growth का यहाँ mentioned है, limits of growth went viral. Publicity, worldwide publicity उसको मिले, and then arguably success क्यों था वो define कर रहा है तुम्हारा. So 4132. Now let's do seventh one. The emotional climate of the home directly influences the person's characteristics, pattern of behavior, and his characteristics adjustment to life. If the home climate is favorable, the individual will react to personal problems and frustration in a calm, philosophical manner, and to people in a tolerant, cheerful, and cooperative way. If the home climate is frictional, he will develop the habit of reacting to family members and outsiders as well in a hostile or antagonistic way. For instance, if a child perceives his mother showing favoritism towards a sibling, he develops an attitude of resentment towards people in positions of authority. So summary then. The home climate influences the person by the effect it has on attitudes towards people. दिया रखा है, hold करते हैं. The home climate probably outweighs the effects of all other, outweighs नहीं दे रखा है, थोड़ा distortion. The home climate fostered by family influences, fostered by नहीं कह रहा है, ये बस home climate कह रहा है, उसका ही example दिया है उसने. A positive home climate makes a person behavior healthy towards the home climate, the positive behavior will make us show that person's behavior healthy towards the people outside. It's just saying that influence होता है, definitely make करता है थोड़ा distortion. तो ये first हो जाएगा तुम्हारा आंसर. Now let's do eighth one. Long before the human spirit awoke to clear cognizance of the world and itself, it sometimes stirred in its sleep, opened bewildered eyes, and slept again. One of these moments of precocious experience embraces the whole struggle of the first man from savagery towards civilization. Within that moment, you stand almost in the very instant when the species attains its zenith. Scarcely at all beyond your own day is the early culture to see progressing, and already in your time and mentality of the race shows signs of decline. So it is just saying that men struggle from savagery to civilization, which currently displays sign of decline, is captured in a moment of precocious experience. De rakha hai. Hold on. Men's development from savagery to civilization, which currently displays signs of decline, has been one of the continuous struggle. इससे अच्छा वो ये कहता है कि वो experience की वजह से. Men's development from savagery to civilization lies between his becoming inactive when he goes to sleep. ये तो दिया ही नहीं है. Men's development is embraced at the moment in which the man attains. नहीं, ये नहीं दिया गया है कि you stand almost in the very instant when the species attain its zenith दिया है. So तब attain होता है वो नहीं दिया गया. तो one is your answer. Altruism is by far the most prevalent form of pro-social behavior in social psychological work. While muddied in literature and research at basis, an altruistic act is an intentional act that helps another with no benefit and perhaps even a cost to the one who performs it. While inherent in most definition of altruism is the tenet that the helper must not benefit from altruistic act, helping lacks a similar precondition. Helping is any act that one does to assist another, regardless of whether the helper benefits from the act or not. To illustrate, if one accepts the previous definition, he or she might think of making a charitable donation as an altruistic act, which it is if there is no benefit to the giver. However, if one donates to charity and gets a tax reduction or a public note recognition in return, such acts might be conceived of as helping behaviors rather than altruistic ones. We are just saying कि अगर तुम्हारा कोई helper का benefit नहीं है तो ही वो altruism है, वरना नहीं. Between the two pro-social categories, altruism and helping, all successful attempts at altruism might be considered helping, while all successful acts of helping are not altruistic. This is not clearly given, and this is not the main idea. The two pro-social categories, altruism and helping, though often confused, are slightly different. If the idea of personal benefit is concerned, यही तो बोल रहे थे. Hold on. They are closely related as both are connected to selfless helping. ये तो नहीं दिया है. Are two different sets having different agendas and personal मोटिवेशन, एजेंडा अलग है, यहाँ पे कोई भी नहीं दिया है, पर्सनल मोटिवेशन है, कुछ नहीं दिया। अगर पर्सनल बेनिफिट कंसिडर करे तो अलग हो जाएंगे, दैट इज गिवन, hence this is the answer. So that's it for today, and I hope this was helpful. We'll come back with more such sessions. Thank you all.